Hello all. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss the social features of Discogs and how to model them in our logical schema. So let's go back to the album that we've been extensively discussing. We can see that Discogs supports the idea of users. User is one of the most common anchors that you can have in your system, but we somehow managed to describe almost a dozen of them without ever mentioning users. Let's do that. What sort of information do we keep about the users? Two things that come to mind immediately is email and like a login name. So what is the email of this user? It's a string and it's something like at example.com. Also, what is the login name of this user? It's also string and it's going to be John, an example value. Here we can look at my profile. So we have user pick. We have the login name, releases rated, items for sale, my seller's rating, buyer rating. Not much interesting here, actually. Some reviews. One review. Okay. So looking through the album page, we can see that we have the star rating. So I can certainly rate this release by far 5 stars. How do we model this in our database? So this is a link between the album, between the release, I think, yes, between the release and the user. User release. The user can rate several releases, and a release can be rated by several users. So this is M2M. Oh, I see that we forgot about this one. Genre can have several styles, so it's going to be 1 to N. Let's just write it down. But the link does not contain the information about the number of stars that I've given to this release. And for that, we need to introduce the idea of link attribute. Link attributes are quite rare, and basically rating of something is one of the like a classic link attributes. And our table actually is not very well suited for the for describing this. So how do we identify this link? We can use user rates release. We can even, I've been experimenting with this notation a lot, and we want to have this readable, but at the same time, more or less machine readable. So we keep the lowest number of words here. We basically just two anchors and one verb. How many stars does the user rate release? Is this even English? I'm not sure. This is again getting characteristically awkward. And this is a number, and this is, for example, 4. Or we can say 1 to 5 if you want. So here's an no. The next thing that we want to discuss is add to want list. So I can basically say that I want to have this specific release. So I just add it to my want list, and there are also nodes. This was my first Pink Floyd album. Save. Nice. So what we have here? We again have a link between user and the release, but it's a different link because it's a different verb. So we again have here user release. A user can add several releases to. It can even be may want several releases. A release can be wanted by several users. Again, end-to-end. But we also have this node. We also store it as the attribute of this link. User slash wants slash release. What is the node text for this want list entry? String if we use this sort of identification of this link, like how do we see, looking at this, where is our link that it refers to, right? We don't add a lot of notation here, a lot of strictness. We could write an application, vibe code basically, an application that helps us store this. But here the goal is to just organize the information in a useful way so that we could understand the data. So we don't invent any super complicated mechanisms for that. So you will go to you will find all the links that refer to user, and you will just read them and see which of them refer to want list. Because why? Because link attributes are quite rare. So we don't want to add any IDs for each of the link, and we will not be using them, basically. One opportunity that we could have is that we could user slash wants slash release, right? So that if we copy paste this, if we search for the string, we would find this. So this is possible. You can use any notation that you need for this to be useful and to better understand this schema for your needs. Okay. There is also a collection, so I can own this release. So let's add this to right a little bit. So added just now media conditions. So we see that there are some, like for example, very good plus. Sleeve condition is also a good plus. Notes. I got it from my grandfather. Folder. Okay, let it be uncategorized for now. So it looks like we have another link between user and release, that user has this release in their collection. But actually, it's possible to own several copies of the same release. So we can have near mint, another one, and a categorized folder. So when you have a link between two anchors, it means that there is only one record about each pair, right? So user with ID 10 can only have one link with the release of ID 100. I mean, one link with a certain verb, right? So I cannot rate this album several times, right? But I can add it to the collection several times, and that requires us to introduce another anchor. And this anchor we could call collection item, for example. Collection item. Looking again at this, so we have lots of links between collection item and different anchors. So one thing that we have is collection item user. So this is my collection item. Oi, table, sorry. Collection item user. A user may have several collection items, own even. A collection item may belong to only one user, right? And so it means we need to do that the other way around, because the convention is that we have, if our link is 1 to n, then we have the one anchor first. So one user can own several collection items. Now a link between release and the collection item. A release may, how do you say that, may be included as several collection items. No, that's too awkward. The release may be several collection items. A collection item may refer to only one release. So here we have 1 to n. What else we have here? Media condition and the sleeve condition. So media condition is a very important concept for Discogs, for Discogs business, basically. Because when you buy and sell items, you have to be very sure what you're buying. So this list is very well described in the knowledge base in Discogs documentation. But this list is sort of like arbitrary. So you don't when you can add more items to this list. I mean, the site owners can add more items to this list, right? And that's why we want to treat it as yet another small anchor that literally has like half a dozen possible values. So, and that means that the media condition is not an attribute of collection item, as you may probably like it's a when you think in terms of tables, of course, media condition is going to be a column, right? So it's sort of an attribute if you use the common terminology. But for us, I want to show these such small anchors. So we add an anchor that is called condition. It's it's like in physical, like with the physical format actually. So we have like where we can list all possible values, but we have this list somewhere in the code, maybe. So this list of conditions may not even be in the table. This is important to understand. So you can have that in the code and available everywhere on the website. You can also have that in the code and a small lookup table in your database, but in general, it's not even necessary that there is going to be a table. So, and again, we want to have machine readable condition and a human readable condition. What is the human readable label of this condition? Oh, condition string. How does it look like? Very good VG. Very good VG. And here we're gonna have VG. Right. So another link is getting pretty long. So we have a condition collection item. Here it's going to become even more awkward. A condition refers to only to several collection items. A collection item can have only one condition. Again, 1 to n. But we also have sleeve condition. At some point, so sometimes you have fun data elements, and sometimes you have boring data elements. A condition, a sleeve condition, You can even bold it to show the difference. You can even you can sacrifice machine readability of this and maybe even write here something like that. I'm not going to do that because here we have two of those cells are sort of look the same, and you have to go and see and read the sentences. So here maybe the notation something like that could be better, but we won't deviate now from this established condition. You can add another column here actually, and remarks, and write down all of those notes so that they would be more searchable. Cool. We have node and we have the folder. So the node goes directly into collection item. What are the nodes on that collection item? String, birthday, gift from my dad. Nice. Now I probably want to, okay, I'm gonna remove that later. What else do we have for the social aspects of this? Let's go. Reviews. Nice. I won't be leaving fake reviews here, so let's use. So a user at certain date left a review of this release. And there is also this one helpful, so probably somebody liked this review, right? Oh, we can see that there are also replies. What happens if we click here? Right, yeah, so replies. So the reviews here are like in a tree structure. So maybe it's not even a review, maybe it's a sort of a comment, because I guess that you can continue the discussion here, right? Let's see. Wait. It's helpful. Okay, let's think about that a bit later. So let's start with the review. We certainly have an anchor for that. Review. And the first thing that we have is what is the text of this review? String. Best release I've heard so far. So we see that it's human readable. There is also a link between release and review. A review can have several, or can refer to only one release. A release can have several reviews. Nice. Who left this review? User review. So it's 1 to m. A user can have several reviews. A review can be written by the left by only one user. Nice. So it's also 1 to m. Helpful. So as a user, I can mark this review as helpful. And I can only do it once, either I marked or not marked. Because of that, that's a link. User, so we have another link between user and review. A user can mark as helpful several reviews. And a review can be marked as helpful by several users. So here we actually have M2N. What else? Reply. One other thing that reviews have is the date. Review. When was this review posted? So in the UI, we see only the date, but I'm pretty sure that it's timestamp. Date, time. Now we can talk about the uh, replies to review replies. So a review can be a reply to another review. And this is a link. It's a very common pattern, of course. You can have comments like on Reddit and some other websites. So, so we have here a review and review. A review can respond to only one review. A review can have several reviews as response. So it's 1 to n. Nice. There is also, you can see that there is apparently editing timestamp. We can write it down in the attributes list, but this is not super interesting. So can we review something else? Can we review this master? Because this is a specific release. So the list to link to this. Okay. Right. So here is the album itself. So we see that 100,000 people want one of the releases have 200,000 people want one of the releases. There are 12,000 ratings. The average rating is 4.49. But we already have this data. It's like when this page renders, it's going to be calculated from the data that we already have. That the user left a rating, the user added to want list and to collection. So here's the thing. It's possible that we do have, not we, Discogs, in their database, they have this rating and the counts in separate fields where they keep sort of a cached copy of this. So they don't do each time when they render this page, they don't actually do select count star from want list where and so on and so on. That's because it's gonna be slow. Well, it could be made faster by just caching this value. So I'm pretty sure that they have some uh, if we switch to talking about tables, and we must switch to talking about tables, they have some field in the albums table that says total number of people who want this, right? And but we don't add this now to our logical schema because this is a question of a physical implementation because we can do that when we decide that we need to do it, and that's going to be later. For now, our goal is to keep the source of truth, basically. And then all the uh, secondary representations are going to be described separately in a separate document, like where do we keep this now, this count? How do we update that? When it's getting updated? What to do if this count somehow got out of sync? And so on and so on. So scroll down. We have reviews here, but we can see that actually it's a combination of reviews from all the releases, which sort of makes sense. So we don't add anything to our logical schema. We can think about how we would implement this SQL query. It's pretty simple. You can see that the user also, so the user leaves a review, and the user also adds a star rating. Wait, how do I cannot right here I can leave it here. Right. So it probably takes it from their um, star rating of this release. Yeah, cool. What else? I think that that's enough for now. In the next episode, we are going to start talking about the marketplace part, where we can offer some releases for sale and how we can find something that we want uh, and buy it, because there are 2,600 copies of this album in different releases for different prices, or ships from different places, in different currencies even, and conditions, years, and so on and so on. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. See you on the next one.